Hello.
Heyo.
So we are here and we are going back to our Old Testament where we were at before we started our Easter break. And we finished Ruth and we're going to be going into 1 Samuel. So today we did bike riding. That was lots of fun. Yesterday we did bike riding. Yesterday we did bike riding. Jimmy was pulling the dog in one of the little trailers and had little baby dog in a little basket. He was so cute. And we did a great bike ride. So that was fun.
Not cute.
He was so hot. So anyway, I hope you had a great Easter. We had a great Easter. We had good foods and we
Slept in real late.
We slept in real late and we got to watch did some binge watching on TV and just cuddled and had fun. So it was a nice time. So I hope you enjoyed your time as well. And we will go ahead and open in prayer. Oh, you want to pray?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Lord, I just thank you for this day and I thank you for your word. Thank you that I'm able to do this with my husband. Thank you that you've enabled us to be able to meet with anybody that'll come on, and I pray that you would bless this time, and I pray that you would anoint your word and have it be a blessing to those that hear it. In Jesus' name, amen. All right. So in 1 Samuel, we're just going to recap until we get to where we're going to be meeting at in 1 Samuel 8. In 1 Samuel 1, we see that barren Hannah, she's barren, she can't have any kids, is remembered by the Lord, and she has Samuel, who she dedicates back to God under the high priest Eli's care at the temple when he's weaned. So she is praying and God hears her and she ends up having this baby. And I don't understand how this works, but she's like, okay, well, God gave me this son, so I'm going to give it back to God, and so I'm going to give it to the church. I guess that's what they did. And if he would have been a righteous guy, Eli, then that would have been a great thing. But unfortunately, he was not. So that was what it was. So in chapter 2, he grew in stature and favor with the Lord and people, unlike Eli's sons, who were wicked. And prophecy was spoken against Eli's house because of his wicked sons. So
Part of the theme.
it's pretty funny, huh? The wicked sons are definitely a theme. And so
It's going to carry through for a while, too.
It is. Wicked sons are definitely a theme for a while. So, in chapter 3, the Lord specifically calls Samuel. It's so sweet. Samuel is like sleeping, because he's living in the temple, right? And he's like sleeping in the Holy of Holies, and like, God calls to him, Samuel, and so he's like, you picture this little kid. Okay, like I picture like the little felt things, because that's where I heard the story first. The little felt people, like in Sunday school, and they were like little felt...
Stick?
No, they were like on a little felt board.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And so there was little Samuel, and he was on a little felt board in the temple in the Holy of Holies, and he calls Samuel, Samuel, and so he goes to Eli, and Eli's like, I didn't call you. And so he goes back to the Holy of Holies, and he's like sleeping, and he's like, Samuel, Samuel. And this happens 3 times, and then Eli's like, look, if it happens again, say, here I am, Lord, here I am. And there's Mario. Say hi, Mario.
Hey, Mario.
So he does, he calls out to God calls out to him, and he answers, and so from that point on, God speaks to him, and he's anointed by God. Well, during this time, Eli's sons just become evil, and they make poor choices, they get the ark captured,
And what are they doing during this time? They're taking care of
the people, the temple, the Israelites, yes, because they're the high priest.
Yeah.
Hi, Mario. And so, yes, they end up taking the ark out to a Philistine battle, and Eli's sons end up getting killed. The ark gets captured. Eli finds out, and he falls over dead. His daughter-in-law, who's like in labor, she hears that everything happened, and she ends up dying in labor. And what a wonderful mother. She names her son Ichabod, which means no glory. Thank you, Mom. And then she dies. And so then in chapter 5, we see that the ark is taken, and then it's a whole process to get it back to Israel in chapter 6. But in chapter 7, Israel returns to the Lord in chapter 7 of 1 Samuel. And under Samuel, there's Amorite peace and there's Philistines that are subdued. But then something changes in chapter 8.
So Samuel, he grew old.
Yes.
And he appointed his sons as Israel's leaders. The name of the firstborn was Joel, and the name of the second was Abijah.
Abijah.
They served at Beersheba. I got a little bear over here. I don't want
the
her to
puppies
fall.
on the other side. Sorry.
But his sons did not follow in his ways. They turned aside after dishonest gain and accepted bribes and perverted justice.
But don't you feel like it's not really his fault? His mother gave him up, and he was raised in the temple with the bad high priest. Hi, Thomas. Good to see you.
Hey, Tom.
and Eli's sons were evil, so he had no idea really how to be a dad or maybe lead his kids in the way they should go. Maybe so, it's not really his fault.
And remember, these are the group of people that said, "We will follow you just like we followed Moses."
Yes, the Israelites said, "We will do exactly what you say." Yeah, they lied. Well, not lied. They just can't. They're just, they're just not capable.
So, in
1 Samuel 8:4.
Saul, the other elders of Israel gathered together and came to Samuel at Ramah and said to him, "You're old, and your sons don't follow your ways. Now appoint a king to lead us, such as all the other nations have." So there they go. They're wanting to be like someone else.
Yes.
So they have the 10 Commandments, because right now they have the Ark with the 10 Commandments in it.
Yes, finally made it back. Yeah. But that's not enough.
That's not enough.
No.
They're wanting something else. So they're coveting.
Yes, definitely coveting. Yeah, they want what the other nations have. So evil sons are the theme, the key word, and then they want to be like other nations. So even though they're accusing Samuel of having evil sons, that's why they want a king. They want to be like other nations that have a king, but all the other nations are evil. So it's no different. Yeah.
But when they said, give us a king to lead us, this displeased Samuel. So he prayed to the Lord, and the Lord told him, "Listen to all that the people are saying to you. It is not you they have rejected, but they have rejected me as their king."
How harsh is that? So, they were God's chosen people, and he felt bad. Like Samuel was displeased. He wasn't thrilled with the fact that they were saying, "Hey, you suck and we don't want you anymore." But he prayed to God, right? Because I'm sure he could have called down thunder and lightning and smote him or something. But he's like, "No, I'm going to call a God." And God's like, "Don't worry about it. Listen to them, because they're not rejecting you. They're rejecting me."
As they have done from the day I brought them out of Egypt until this day, forsaking me and serving other gods, so they are doing to you. Now listen to them, but warn them solemnly, and let them know what the king who will reign over them will claim as his rights.
And then Samuel just goes on to list all the things that they're going to be stuck with when they get a king. And then what do they say at the end? Pretty much, I'm sure they say, "We don't care."
Yeah, they didn't want to hear it. So the king's going to take your sons and make them serve chariots and horses. They will run for the front of his chariots. Some will be commanders. Still others will make weapons.
They'll take your daughters. They take your fields.
The cooks. The bakers.
They'll take 1/10 of your grain.
The best of your fields, your vineyards, your olives. Basically, they're going to say, then it's like, okay, you have all these things. So you give unto the Lord what is to the Lord's, and then the rest is yours.
Right. But now you're saying you want to give it all to a king.
So now you're saying, on top of the 10th I give to the Lord, I want to give 10% to the king.
Right.
I don't have a king right now.
Right. And the people that are here, they don't remember what it was like in Egypt. Remember? Because they all died out in Egypt, the ones that would remember. So in verse 18, it says, when that day comes, you will cry out for relief from the king you have chosen. But the Lord will not answer you in that day. In Egypt, they didn't choose that king. Pharaoh became their taskmaster. They were crying out because they were slaves. But when that happens and you have this horrible king, you're going to cry out to me, and I ain't going to answer you because you chose this.
And this is all a prequel. He's just letting him know. This is like, hey, I know you really want to buy that car over there, but the reviews I've read on that car, it's got this issue, it's got that issue, and, after you get up to 10,000 miles, it just catches on fire, burns into flames, and you're left with ash.
We don't care. We just want a king over us, okay? So just give us a king, all right? And at the end, Samuel says, just go back home. Just go.
Get out of my face.
Go back to your houses. I don't want to talk to you. So there's a cost. You make a choice. You're stuck with it, and when you get that choice, there's a cost. There's a cost to all the choices that we make, and sometimes the situations we get stuck in are because we chose to be stuck there. We chose to put ourselves in that situation.
Yeah. I mean, we've made bad choices.
Well, of course. I mean, and that's how we learn.
But we've also sought out counsel, and we've listened to counsel.
Yes. And he was trying to counsel them, and they said, we don't care. We don't care. We don't care. We don't want to hear it. We just want a king. Give us a king. We want a king. We want a king now. Now.
Hard-headed.
We want it now.
It's kind of like your kids when you tell them, don't touch that because it's hot and they're
Why?
hard-headed.
Why?
Then they got to touch it.
Why? Why didn't you tell me? Why? Right?
Yeah. Well, I told you, but, you didn't listen.
That's why Samuel just told him to go back to their houses so he didn't hit him. That's what happened right there.
So they want to be like all other nations, with a king to lead us and go before us and fight our battles.
God was already going before them and fighting their battles.
All they had to do was pray, take the ark, and they were taking over lands. They got all the lands. They got the lands of milk and honey.
But unfortunately, this was the consequences and the cost of their decision.
And the Lord answered, listen to them and give them a king.
Yep. You want that? Go ahead. Take it. Do it. It's kind of like when my daughter wanted to cut all her hair off when she was in the 5th grade and be like Halle Berry. And she had hair like long like mine. And then she cut all her hair off and it was like this short. And
she has curly hair.
Yeah, and it just straight into her head, and she was stuck with the consequences of that action. I couldn't put the hair back on her head. It's what she wanted. It's what you want. It's what you want. It's what you get. Go ahead.
Boom. Afro puff. Q-tip.
The buster. Thomas said the buster. So I hope something stuck with you in this. We found it quite funny because it's not us that did it. But, but we've done this, we've been in stupid situations where we didn't care what anybody said, and we're gonna make this choice, and this is what we're gonna do, and we're gonna do it, and it doesn't matter, and we knew it, and we suffered the consequences for action. Pretty much how we started out our we were gonna do what we wanted to do, and we didn't want to hear what anybody else had to say when we first got together, and we knew it was gonna be hard, but we stuck with the consequences of our actions, and I feel it was the right decision, but it was still very difficult. I dreamt about you, so. He always says that. He did dream about me. It's so beautiful. Nevertheless, we started off a little.
Say something?
We started out difficult, and we made hard choices, and we suffered the consequences of our actions. It was difficult in the beginning. Our kids all think that we met and got married, and we lived happily ever after, which was true. We have lived happily ever after, but we had to really explain to them. It was difficult in the beginning. You don't just jump into the first relationship you're in, and then it's just, when you
Some people do.
Anyway, we are very much in love. Nevertheless, I'm trying to show how consequences have actions. You're trying to say that we didn't make poor choices and have consequences for our actions? We had 4 kids in 5 years, and I had my first at 18. Tell me we didn't have a hard time when we first got together. Yes, we did. But nonetheless, God blessed it because we stayed the course, right? So our actions, because we chose to stay the course, had a good consequences. Their actions, because they choose to reject God, have poor consequences. We haven't rejected God. That's why we're here. So we're okay. So, yeah. If anybody has anything they want to share, I appreciate Thomas sharing in there. But yeah, it's just funny to see that we take it personal, you know. Samuel took it personal, like,
yeah, like they're
they're
bagging on
me
because I'm an old man.
And yeah, my kids are a little hard-headed, but you know,
the other
they
kids were
ain't
hard-headed.
old yet. Maybe they're gonna figure it out when they get old, right? No, I don't think they would have figured it out when they got old. But I think God would have blessed it, nonetheless, because God was
chosen people.
Yeah, God would have worked it out. God would have worked it out, even if his kids were evil. God would have worked it out. It was not God's best or chosen plan for the Israelites to reject God. That's never God's chosen plan, you know.
Yeah, that's like all bad.
Yeah, I mean, what would he have done? He would have killed off his sons. Sons were evil. Kill off your sons. That's
Get
what
somebody
happened.
new in.
Get somebody new in. Didn't have to reject God, but they rejected God. See, that's never good to reject God. Hey, Ashley.
Hi, Ashley.
Hi, Ashley. Hope you're seeing you. I see you, Wyatt. Wyatt's my grandson. He's only a year old, so when I talk like that, it's because he's only a year old.
Yeah.
And he likes to see me.
And he likes to.
And then he says Papa. But when I talk to him, he starts laughing. But when he says words, he says Papa. He doesn't say Yaya. He says Papa. But that's okay, because I still love him. I love you, Wyatt. Say Yaya. Okay.
Say Papa.
Anyway.
So.
Are you going there?
No.
Okay, our homework is King Saul.
Well, Saul becoming king.
Saul becoming king. Oh, like I gave it away. Sorry. Saul's gonna become king. Go ahead.
No, it's just, I don't know. To me, that's just like, it's just like, if you ever, that popular song comes out on the radio, and everybody's playing it. What was it last year? It was that Old Town Road.
Oh my gosh, I was so sick of hearing that song. And the
Old
baby
Town
kept
Road.
playing it. Oh my gosh, I was
Old Town
so
Road,
sick of that
Old Town
song.
Road. You turn the station, the Old Town Road. You go inside somebody's, other car, and they turn on the radio. There's the Old Town Road. And it's just like that's the Israelites.
They just want to be like everybody else.
Which
I get it.
They keep playing the same record.
They want to be popular. Oh, well, yes.
We're gonna do it.
Because everybody else is doing it.
No. We're gonna do what's right.
Oh, yeah.
And then we're just gonna do what's wrong. We're gonna do it right. We're gonna do it. You guys you came out of Egypt. God's taking care of you this whole way. But it's like, all of a sudden, we're on the bandwagon. Patriots won the Super Bowl. Woo! I'm on that bandwagon.
He's not really. But I mean, that's real. That's real because how many people make New Year's resolutions? I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do this. This is what I'm gonna do. This by the 2 weeks in, you're like, yeah, I'm not doing that. I mean. I'm going to ride it. We rode our bikes 2 days in a row.
Our New Year's resolution was to not come up with resolutions, because you break them.
Yes.
But to come up with goals for the year.
Yes. So our goal board that Jimmy didn't touch until I touched it when we went under pandemic now has all of my fear nots. Because my goal is to not fear, but to have faith through this pandemic and onward for the rest of the year. So... That's my goal.
Guess my goal is to eat as much food as I possibly can.
Please, let's not do that. We really are eating a lot. Everybody should just stop eating, okay? Everybody just needs to do, every hour, everybody should stand up and then sit down 20 times. So you could at least do that and stop just lifting your fork.
Unless you're Ashley, then you're just chasing kids around all day.
Poor Ashley.
Good cardio.
My daughter-in-law's just constantly chasing babies. I understand that, though. I do. Well, not her babies, but I had 4 babies, but yeah, it's just a lot. Babies are a lot. I can't imagine being in a pandemic with babies. For whoever has kids out there, that's...
Whatever. I can't imagine being in a pandemic with kids, period.
That's not very... Look at this. Why are you laughing at Ashley?
I'm sorry. I'm honest. This is just me being real.
I know we're having enough with our pugs. Like,
I mean,
we're...
I mean, at Ashley and with James and Wyatt, that would be a lot.
That's
different.
a lot.
Can you imagine if they were 10 years old or
well, that's what I
in their
was thinking.
teens?
I was thinking, what if I was in a pandemic with my teenagers? But we had a pool when they were all teenagers. That would have been fun. I loved having teenagers. Jimmy hated it. It was very difficult.
Hate's a strong word.
Hate's a strong word, but he really didn't like it a lot, very much at all.
It was my 40 years of wandering in the desert.
He loved infants, and he loved toddlers, and he loved baby 3-year-olds before school started. I loved having my teenagers. I did. I loved having my teenagers.
I felt like I was stuck with them.
They were amazing. They were so awesome.
Now I really love my kids.
Oh my gosh, I love my adult kids. They're so amazing. My grandkids are amazing.
Yeah.
This has nothing to do with anything. What are we?
It has a lot to do with it.
It has nothing to do with anything.
Well, yeah, it does, because
What?
it lets people know that, at the end of the day, there's still hope that you walk out of the kid pandemic.
Yes. Though you make poor choices and you could be stuck in them for a while, that God will see you through. Just don't turn on God. And I mean, that's what they did. They rejected God. And it was one thing to ask for a king. And when they realized it was a bad thing according to the Lord, they could have changed. They could have said, "Oh, we're so sorry. We didn't realize this was wrong.
Heck,
what
yeah,
were we thinking?"
Right there.
When they said,
when Samuel told all the words the Lord of the Lord to the people who were asking him for a king. And so if you go to 1 Samuel 8, and you go from verse 10 to all the way to 18.
Yeah.
All the way to 18.
He's telling them
he
all
gives
these
them the
horrible
breakdown
things.
of everything that they're going to have to do, everything that they're going to have to give up, everything from the best of your cattle,
but the people refuse to
and
listen.
you yourselves will become his slaves.
They don't care. Come out to my house and walk the yard with the bees. Keeps you fit and trim. Down 15 pounds.
Oh, nice, Tom. We might stop by. I might hit a hive and watch you run.
What? God is good all the time. Yes.
But it says you and yourselves will become his slaves. And when that day comes, you'll cry out for relief from the king.
I won't answer you.
And I won't answer you. So at that point, here's the biggest warning in the world. Like I said, it's like going to buy a car, and you go to the car lot,
and they say it's gonna break down,
and the car literally says lemon on it.
It's gonna be a beater.
This one,
the engine's gonna blow up in less than a year.
You're gonna drive this one off the lot.
We actually had that happen.
Yeah, we went for a test drive. We turned right, and and the drive the half shaft.
And then they tried to say you broke it. No, I don't think so. I don't think the whole bottom end is supposed to fall off the car. We're not getting this car.
We literally turned left. We didn't feel good about it.
No, we didn't.
When we went and met this guy.
Yep.
We got in the car, turned left. The half shaft broke. The car wouldn't move.
All I hear is the pole grinding on the ground.
And it's like, here you go. This is the lemon.
We're just telling you.
Now, if you spend your heart out, I tell you what, you're going to pay for this car for the rest of your life. You're going to have this payment forever.
And your kids are going to have the payment. This is what God's telling them.
So
you're gonna have this payment, kids are gonna have this payment, and the car's gonna be a beater.
But
we don't care, Lord. Give us the car. That's what they're saying.
But I'm telling you, don't do it.
But we don't care. But the people refuse to listen.
Boom. Boom. Drop the mic.
So who's stuck? Whose fault is it? They're stuck. They're stuck because they chose to be stuck. And they could have at that moment unstuck themselves. Nothing was forcing them to go down this path. You're stuck because you choose to be. So when you see God giving you the warning signs of, hey, probably shouldn't do this, probably making a bad choice,
hey, stop! Don't go!
Instead, you say, no, I want to
Yeah,
listen to you.
I'm good.
I'm going to do my own thing.
Good,
I know what I
God.
want. I know what I need. This is the way I want to go. This is my best plan. I got a feeling about this.
Did you ask God?
They didn't. God was already yelling at them.
No, I'm just saying. When you come to that point when you're going to make the decision.
No, you didn't ask God. You know why I know you didn't ask God? Because you didn't want to hear what he had to say. Because it wasn't in line with what you were doing. That's why I know you didn't do it. So, you're stuck in the decisions you make when you choose to stay there. Because half the time, God gives you a direct... Anytime you're in the way that you're not supposed to go, God always gives you a way out. No temptation has overcome you that God will not give you a way out, that you can withstand it. But when you choose to continue to go down that path, he is not going to yoke you off of it. He's going to allow you to make your choice and learn from it. Hopefully you'll learn from it. Hopefully you won't be like the Israelites that just didn't learn from very many things. I feel like we have gone through things and we have learned from them. I feel like there's very few of our situations that we're in right now that we didn't learn from. Like, I feel like there were some things we went through quite a few times. Like, okay, we didn't get this the first time. Okay, we didn't get this the second time. Okay, we didn't get this. But by the third or fourth time, we got it. But sometimes it just took one time. But you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't feel like we're in a situation where we're, like, repeating the same thing. Because there were times in our lives where I was like, dude, we just didn't get this the first time. And that's my biggest prayer is that, Lord, we're here, we're in this situation. Please teach me what I'm supposed to learn in this situation. I don't want to repeat this situation again. What am I supposed to get from this situation? So,
or at least let our life lessons be a lesson to our kids.
Yeah. Yes. Don't let it be for nothing. Don't let me be going through this for absolutely nothing. I pray that that's truly the case. Yeah. Because then it's just a waste. Right?
It is. So.
Don't be stuck.
Don't be stuck.
God
tells you something.
Listen. If you're not sure, ask. If you can't hear, then you shouldn't go.
Think about the cost.
Because it could have lasting consequences.
Oh, gosh. I think that's it. I think you'll end it on that. I like that.
Thank you guys so much for joining in, and we shall talk at you guys tomorrow.
Yes, and I'll reach out to you, Tom.
Yeah, I guess we're going to go see bees, and Jimmy's going to chase me. So, that's fine.
Maybe we'll ride our bikes down there. Because Tom has ridden his bike to work.
Thanks, guys. See you later. Bye.